Who's excited about the new year? Who's hopeful? Right? Hope and excitement and the possibilities. Now, my question for you is, what's going to make this year different and better than the previous years? What's going to make the difference? It's a number that has changed. However, what is the process? Is there a process that we can move from that which has been in the past to something greater? I'm looking forward to 2024 being the best year ever. And you see, I don't say best year ever because it's energy. It's best year ever. So, would you like to know what you can do to help create the better and different year than any previous year? Yes? Okay. Alex says yes. Excellent. So, today's talk is going to revolve around, and I'm just going to be very mindful of the R words. This is the sign language for R. There's many R words. And so, you might take notes or not. Or because you can remember everything I say today. So the first thing, in order to create a life that is a year that is different and better than the previous years, we need to spend some time with reflecting on the past and reviewing the past. Because I want to know what it was in the past. And I do have sheets of paper that I had available last week, and I do have them available this week. And if you're in the Cyber Sanctuary, email revliz@unitysantafe.org, and I'll be happy to send you. There's 10 areas of life where you can reflect and review your past year, 2023, in review. In these 10 areas, there are 3 questions or places to fill out. For instance, what was your biggest win in the area of maybe your physical body? What was your biggest win? Next, what was your biggest challenge, let's say, in physical? And then the third part is, what were your greatest learnings? Now, it is very important to do this work, I believe, in order to create a better year, because the most important thing for me is the learnings. I don't even know what it is I learned until I sit down with the piece of paper and go, what did I learn? Because the learnings is what I want to take into the new year. So, first, we're doing the review and reflect. The next part is called release, because we now can look at what we're going to release, because we reviewed and reflected. How many of you attended the burning bowl ceremony last week? Excellent. That was such a great service, and we always do that at the beginning of the year. What we're going to release. Now, some of you may not have been able to attend, and in the Cyber Sanctuary, you may not have been able to, but maybe you did your own release ritual ceremony, because you don't have to necessarily be here to do that process. So I'm going to invite you and let you know it's not too late to do your release work. I say, take a piece of paper, and what am I releasing? Now, you don't have to make a long list. In fact, we had a piece of paper that was a 2x3. So you couldn't write a lot, because I don't want you to focus on everything you're going to release. That's not as important as just a few words to go, I'm releasing this, I'm releasing that. Then say thank you to all that you're releasing, because it's important to give thanks. And then either burn it safely, of course, shred it, or bury it. Release, because you have to let go of stuff for something new to come in. Now, there's a second part to the release. We want to go into replace, because nature abhors a what? Excellent. Not the vacuum cleaner, right? So now we're going to have a couple more R's before we get to the replace, because I want to have the best year ever, and you do too, right? It's energy. Come on. Work with me. It's your life. You get to be energetic or not so much. But the universe is listening, and it is matching our energy. It is a reflective. So, The next R, so we've got reflect, review, we've got release. The next one is return. Not returning to the past, as you might go. Return to what? We are returning to the fundamentals, the fundamental teachings. Today's talk title is In the Beginning. We are returning to the beginning of time. And there is this book that it's a famous spiritual book that starts off with in the. And what is the next word? Oh, in the beginning. Excellent. Yeah, this is a participatory service today, of course. So, in the beginning, God. Okay, in the beginning, God, what? What's the next word? Created. And what did God create? Yeah, you were a little shaky on that one. I'm not hearing the first. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Okay? It's important to go back to the beginning. The beginning of the year, I like to focus on what the foundational, fundamental principles are of unity. We have fundamental principles, and I'm going to share a little bit about those. You see, everybody who's involved in any mastership, if you are a sports player in any sport, golf, basketball, you have to practice the fundamentals, music, dance, anything that you engage in and want to be a master in, the basics are basic. So we are coming back to the basics. How many of you have the book called The 5 Principles? Oh, excellent. Everybody who doesn't, you're going to get the book today. And I'll tell you why. Because you want to have the best year ever, go back to the fundamentals. Now, for everybody who just raised their hand because you have the book, I want you to go home and find it. Okay, because it's probably not, maybe it's sitting on your nightstand or your reading table, but I'm guessing maybe it isn't. So you are going to return to this book for the next 5 weeks because you want to have the best year. Oh, you got it. That was energetic. The 5 principles. We want to get back to it. And Ellen Davenport speaks to, and I'm going to share, what is a principle anyway? A principle is universal. It works all the time, for all the people, everywhere, all the time. Not just some people, some places. She writes, spiritual principles are the same, constant, unchanging, and impersonal. They work with our understanding and had no opinion of our behavior. What a relief it would be to understand what these principles are and how we can work within them. There's principles like electricity, gravity, and we want to understand there's actually metaphysical principles, which was what we are teaching in the Prosperity Plus class. The unity movement claims no corner on spiritual truth. These principles show up in all the major religions. The earth's greatest teachers, Buddha, Jesus, and many others, taught these very laws. Unity was founded in what year? I couldn't resist. 1889. And who was it founded by in 1889? Very good. We're in unity. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. And where was it founded? What city? Very good. Kansas City, Missouri. Because unity has a Christian base, this book reflects Christianity, the Bible, and Jesus as a model for spiritual living. But the Fillmores, who began exploring metaphysics as a means of healing themselves physically, drew ideas from all the world's religions, found what worked for them, and shared it through their publications, prayer, and teachings. And it was a century later that the Fillmores' great-granddaughter, Connie Fillmore Bazzi, who was an ordained Unity minister and then president of the Unity School of Christianity, was asked to summarize the Unity teachings for the Daily Word magazine. She condensed the teachings of unity into five basic principles. So that's what we're here about, to get back to the beginning, to get back to the fundamentals. The beginning of a new year is the perfect time to deepen my understanding. I don't know about you, but my understanding of the divine has grown, evolved throughout the years. Has that happened for you? Yeah. And I expect that my understanding of the divine is going to grow and evolve as well. Because one of my favorite Bible verses is, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness." And I like to use the word righteousness, using the laws for our benefit. And all these things will be added unto you. So again, we're going back to seek ye first. What is the beginning? The beginning is God. Now, we're going into these principles, and Ellen Davenport talks about how she says if she had one wish for the world, it would be that every adult would re-examine his or her view of God at least once per decade. I'm thinking once a year. I don't want to wait 10 years to have a revisit of what is the divine. Because the ideas we've had are ever evolving if we choose to evolve. So we're going to look at principle number uno. Number one principle. Who knows what it is? It is God is all there is. Let's say that together. God is all there is. Okay. You may go, really? What about evil? What about war? What about? Okay? By the book. She talks about this. I'm not going to tell you about what she says about the, quote, why there is, quote, this idea of evil. If God is all there is, then what is what we have called evil? Again, I'm not going to go into that today. That's for you to look at. What I do want to talk about is what is that principle and how she states it. Principle number one affirms that God is all there is. God is the stars, the rocks, the animal, the people. That means you. Did you know you're the divine in expression? Maybe you know it here, but do you really know it and understand that everybody is the divine? God, Spirit, whatever name you call it, is the love, the creativity, the wisdom that we express. All that we are and all that we have is Spirit. Breathe. We can never be separate from this power. It's actually in our very breath. It's in every cell of our body. There is a divine intelligence. Principle one says that we are one with God, not separate. We're not being watched like you have misbehaved and you did. It's not that idea. God is the immersion. Apostle Paul says we live and move and have our being in spirit. And in oneness, God lives and moves and has its expression as us. Now, putting words and trying to describe what spirit is pretty challenging because it's infinite. And we try to describe or understand something that is so infinite. Well, it is everything that you see, and it is everything that is invisible. You know, we are schooled in duality, hot and cold, good and bad. It's all energy, okay? Even to say that we are one with God denotes duality. I'm not one with God. I am a God being, and so are you. But we are so reserved to say that. Oh, if I'm God, of course I am. That doesn't mean I'm better than you. It means I'm equal to you because you're just as much God being that I am. There is no difference. If we're all the divine beings, yippee-doo, right? Come on. So there's many, many ways to look at what the divine is. It's all that is. And she says, as all that is, the energy we call God, the divine, doesn't have any boundaries because an eternal life force cannot be an entity or supreme being. God simply is the source of all energy. It's everything. It's vibrational energy. When I say that, this teaching that I'm going to be teaching us about or Mary Morrissey is going to teach us in Prosperity Plus, is all about these universal life principles that we're creating all the time, whether you know it or not. By what we think about, what we put our attention on, we actually get more of. Now, I do want to let you know that in the beginning, it doesn't say that God made New Year's resolutions. It doesn't say that. How many of you like to make New Year's resolutions? Oh, a couple of you. Excellent. I don't particularly, but how many of you have ever made a resolution to exercise more? I knew there would be. And I have good news for you. You want to hear the good news? Well, if exercise is on your New Year's resolutions, all you have to do is laugh. Okay, you're getting it. Practice that. Laughing uses more muscles at one time than any other activity. Come on. In fact, 15 muscles are required just to smile. Now, this is in Benjamin Franklin's almanac, so it has to be true. See, there you go. You just exercised. You burned a calorie or two. So just laugh more. So we are in the process of creating the best year ever. We are reflecting, okay? And then we're doing the release. And then, what was the next word? We're very good, returning. And returning to the principles. Principle number 1 is God is all there is. So I'm going to give you a little bit of homework because you can just come in here for your hour time, or you can actually say, I want to make this be. I'm making this be. I am doing my part in this creation of a new year, the best year ever. Oh my goodness, we're moving it. See, the energy's already gotten higher. So now we've returned, and your homework, number 1 is read. There's another R. Reading chapter 1. And there's a second part. When you're reading and God is all there is, I want you to, I know this is a C word, you have to, be with it. Contemplate. 2 ways to do contemplation, if God is all there is. Think about what are the highest vibrations of what God is. Maybe it's love. Maybe the highest vibration of the divine is light, or peace, or beauty, or harmony, or wholeness, or abundance. List some of the qualities of spirit. What is the God of your understanding? That's what is important to know. What is the God of your understanding? May be different than mine, but it's your turn to look at that. So, contemplating and taking one quality every day and go, okay, God is all there is, and God is love. So let me see how much love that I am aware of today, or beauty, or harmony, or abundance. Take one thing and just kind of make that your focus. I want to see how much of that I'm aware of. The second way that you can practice God is all there is, and it's a real simple statement, and it can be challenging. This too is the divine. Everything you see this week, and you'll see things. I was in India. I got that instruction. I was like, no, this isn't the divine. I'm like, no, it is the divine. I have a different idea of what that is. So I'm inviting you to say, this too is the divine. The things that you enjoy, and maybe the things you don't enjoy. This too is the divine. So now we have returned to the basics, and the next part is to realize. Realize what? Realize that inner voice and who you are. And I like to take the word realize and say R-E-A-L-E-Y-E-Z-E. E-S. I get an A for spelling today, right? Real eyes. How does Spirit see you? Can I see myself the way the divine sees me, as precious, as beautiful, as absolutely perfect in all my imperfections, unconditionally loving? To see ourselves, to know for ourselves something new, something that is true. So we have a ceremony that we perform usually the beginning of the year, and it is called the White Stone Ceremony. Does anyone here not have a white stone? If so, raise your hand. You need a white stone and a marker. And right up here, Deborah, thank you so much. Now, those in our Sabre Sanctuary, I know you may not have a white stone, but take a white piece of paper and use your imagination. And imagine it's a stone, because we're going to do this ceremony on the white stone. So, at the start of a year, it's that time for new beginnings. I want you to hold that stone in your hands and know that you are starting this new year with a clean slate. The white stone is actually an ancient ritual, and this stone actually comes from Hebron, which is in Israel. Back in the time when Jesus was teaching and someone was serving time in prison or bondage in any type, they were given a white stone when they were released, because we all have bondage, perhaps to limiting beliefs. And we want to know that this white stone signifies our freedom. So the ceremony actually comes from Revelations 2:17, and John talks about the people being given a new name. Let anyone who has an ear listen to what Spirit is saying. And it's not about your outer ear. It's about the still small voice. To listen to that voice. The Bible verse says, to everyone who conquers, I give some hidden manna. And we're not looking at the bread and the physical substance. To everyone who conquers their fears, their doubts, their worries, I shall give peace that passes all understanding. It's to win the war, not an outer war, but the war within our own minds. It is to be able to surrender to Spirit and not to be following that which is our ego, which wants it our way, but to understand that the Spirit within us is always seeking a freer, fuller, more expanded expression of itself as you and as me. The second part of this promise is, I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows, but is received by Spirit. We have overcome, believing we are overcoming the past, that we are moving into the future with a clean slate. There's many name changes in the Bible. It is when we are evolving into something greater than we think we've ever seen ourselves or been up until now. As we surrender during this upcoming ceremony, which I'll be facilitating with you, realizing that we're not coming from us. We're coming from the great I am. I am that I am. What does Spirit say I am? White stone, actually white means purification, joy, and victory. It is a pure consciousness that we are now moving into, and I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes as you hold this stone, and perhaps place your stone hand near your heart. And let us breathe. Breathing, knowing that we are connected, and not just connected, but that power, that presence that is I am. I am an individualized expression of this one life. Knowing that I am here to receive from the I am that I am a new name, perhaps a purpose, a phrase, something that is calling itself into a greater expression as me. today and in the days to come. So let it come easily. Let a name come to you, a word that marks your new beginning. And so just feel into and listen. Hear the name, the word that the I am has brought you today. As it comes to you, you're invited then to write the name, the word, perhaps a phrase, whatever Spirit brings. Write it on the white stone. We let ourselves receive. Behold, I make all things anew. For you are my beloved. So let us feel the gratitude for what has been brought to us in this moment, in this day, for all the days to come, knowing that we receive with it the power and guidance to be this word, to embody this energy written on our white stone as a new beginning, knowing that it is Spirit's good pleasure to bring us, to bring you this kingdom. We accept this for the ever-increasing good in our lives, knowing that we can carry this white stone as a reminder of the promise being made today that Spirit is with us every step. And we simply accept and know it to be so as we say together, and so it is. So taking that white stone, that is our realization by the I am that is each and every one of us. And we're coming now into the final R. You've got reflect and review. You have now released, or you will be releasing if you haven't already, that which needed to be released. Then we moved into, what's the next word? Oh, very good. Return to the basics. Then realizing the divine within through the word and energy of our stone. And the last but not least, and I mentioned at the beginning, is to replace. We're replacing that which we have released. Now, how do you do that replacing? The one word that is one of the 12 powers, and I'm going to be talking more about that next week, especially since it's Martin Luther King's weekend, so to speak. Imagine. To imagine. You have to replace what you've let go of. What is it that you would love? That is the question to ask yourself this week. What would I love? And when you take the Mary Morrissey class, you will get very accustomed to asking, what would I love? You know, I think it was Albert Einstein who said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Because everything that has ever come to be started with the imagination. So I want you to begin to ask, what is it I would love? I will again be coming back to that replacement of what we would love and using our imagination next week. So stay tuned, because it is your imagination that can create heaven on earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. We are the God Spirit. We are creating right here and right now. So let us use the R's and use that pure imagination, knowing it blesses us with the best year ever. Excellent. agreement. And so it is. Yippee-doo.